As these rumors started to spread online, fans were gripping their phones as though they had just stumbled onto the messiest tea of the year. For weeks, comments began to surface in secret gossip websites and fan groups. They are all discussing the same pressing issue. What is going on with Kirk Frost and Rashida this time? The discussion wasn't too loud at first. It was delicate, almost snake-like, and flowed into time frames with fuzzy subtitles as if you only knew. Atlanta is unprepared for this storm as well. But all of a sudden, there was a lot of talk, and many people started to think that Rashida's 25-year marriage would be in danger again. It's because of the kind of online rumors that make the entire fandom stop breathing, not because anything has been confirmed. Some websites said that Kirk had been seen too closely with someone who was definitely not Rashida. No identities, no tangible receipts. Just that toxic little cloud of rumor that persists long enough to pique everyone's curiosity. You are also acquainted with social media. One comment becomes 10. 10 spins equal 100. Viewers were penning paragraphs like they were trying out for a soap opera as the evening drew to a close. People questioned whether it was just another déjà vu occurrence, whether their former shadows had returned, or whether something more significant was happening in the background. Pine smiled behind the immaculate posts. The whispers were rendered further stranger by the circumstances. Kirk was traveling in a different direction, quieter and farther away, almost as if he was attempting to blend in, whereas Rashida had just celebrated another professional accomplishment, looking gorgeous and confident. That set the entire internet on fire. Supporters described feeling tense, the music changing, and the atmosphere changing, even if no one could tell the difference between reality and fiction. However, imagination is especially powerful when it comes to a marriage that has had scandals worse than half of the love and hip-hop narrative lines. On blogs these days, the notion that something is brewing is common. Right now, the question is being asked everywhere. Is Rashida protecting her heart again? Or is there simply too much noise here? Whatever it is, their marriage is currently the focus of the most heated speculations of the year, and people are discussing it in public. Since these new rumors about Kirk started to appear in comment sections, there has been a strange tension surrounding Rashida that is almost palpable on TV. Those who have followed their journey from the beginning are aware that they have already made it through one of the messiest love storms that reality TV has ever seen. As a result, fans pay attention to more than just anything that seems a bit odd. They capture screenshots of it, examine it, play it again, and construct whole stories around it. And that's exactly what seems to be happening at the moment. Even while no one is claiming to have caught Kirk red-handed or anything, the way some blogs and fan pages are interacting suggests that a new season of drama has just begun. Things started out slowly as usual. A sporadic post on a minor gossip website claimed to have witnessed Kirk getting a little too close to someone who was obviously not his wife in a corner of an Atlanta lounge. With a grainy video, a man with a cap leaned down to talk to a woman whose face was hardly visible. There was no clear tag or point of view. Some onlookers said it looked like Kirk. Any man wearing a fitting cap could be the culprit, according to some. The film did not establish anything on its own. The caption did the hard job. Words like music, secret involvement, history repeating itself, and repeated behavior were utilized. That alone sent fans into overdrive. Suddenly, the conversation went beyond the video. They were bringing up every mistake, rip, and disaster from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, where Rashida seemed to be lugging the world around the cafeteria. Simultaneously, some admirers started to remark on how peculiar Kirk's online persona was. He was posting less regularly, and when he did, a lot of people asked questions in the comments section regarding his personal life. Even harmless pictures of food from a restaurant or a casual selfie turned into small-scale comment warfare. "You're moving funny again and we can see it," a fan wrote beneath an image. Another person said, "You're constantly trying to create drama." When the Quiet and the Frost camp supplied extra fuel, nobody said, "Let them live." Even if just one quote is utilized, social media can use music to turn a quiet moment into a confession. But when film of Rashida from earlier performances started to circulate in a completely different setting, things really took a turn for the worse. "I know what I will and won't put up with since I've experienced enough in my marriage," she said. "You can't keep breaking somebody and expect them to heal in the same house," she continued in subsequent interviews. At the time, these remarks, which were followed by dramatic music, sounded like a woman thinking back on her past. Captions like, "And now look at what's being said about Kirk," and slow zooms appeared to hint to possible future developments. Fans started to comment, "She sounds like someone who knows more than she is disclosing and is tired of being phony." Behind the scenes, various so-called insiders who are regularly cited on various websites assert that the real issue is not a single occurrence, but rather a pattern of little, painful changes. Rumors began to circulate that Kirk had been spending more time away from home, citing late studio locks and business meetings. However, none of those activities would be cause for concern on their own. Kirk has always loved music and been a hustler. Fans describe seeing more postings of Rashida with friends or family but not Kirk, and fewer pictures of couples and funny moments on stories. Once more, nothing is confirmed, but the internet hardly ever waits for confirmation before launching. But everything gets suspicious when people believe they have detected a change, telling its own tale. Emotions surged as a fan posted a long thread describing a number of recent public appearances. In one of the event footage, Rashida and Kirk were seen standing side by side on a carpet, grinning for the cameras. In the close-up pictures, many noted that she smiled at the photographers without ever looking at Kirk and put her hand back a little too quickly. At first glance, they seemed to be the same tidy pair. The comments underneath the thread were critical, and some saw this as the body language of a lady keeping it together. She moved her weight forward in silence when he tried to touch her shoulder. Others said that people were reading too much into a brief moment, but every gesture becomes a clue if suspicion is aroused. Meanwhile, there are those anonymous sources that usually come to light when a marriage seems to be in danger. A few blogs started attributing comments to those close to the issue, stating Rashida has been battling with her decision and wondering if she can take another public humiliation, even though nothing noteworthy has been proven this time. They show a lady who has spent decades fighting for her family, who has been forgiven in ways that most people would never believe, and who is once again at a crossroads in her emotions. According to one alleged insider, she has even told a few close friends that she can sense when her household is in a bad mood. But according to certain reports, Kirk has been responding very defensively whenever anything even somewhat connected to this topic comes up. One blogger claims that a crew member made a lighthearted remark about Kirk avoiding problems during a recent off-camera session. In response, Kirk said he's fed up with people assuming the worst whenever he goes outside by himself. According to the same account, Kirk left feeling irritated and mumbling that he would always be labeled as the villain. Fans believe that the music gets even more intense in family reactions, and the notion that Kirk is trapped and misunderstood only heightens the emotional intensity of the scene. Because the songs so perfectly matched their preconceptions about him, supporters were ready to embrace it whether or not that interaction had occurred. According to reports, 2 of the kids' posts had slight clues. Nothing overt, just small adjustments, as well as a caption that seems more reflective than usual. In this film, everyone is laughing, but if you look closely, the smiles seem a touch forced. Once more, it may all be a coincidence. A motivational saying about maintaining composure. Life continues on even in a famous family. However, viewers often project pain into each filtered image when they think a marriage might be in danger. Rashida, a woman who has simultaneously come to represent controversy and resiliency, is at the center of all this speculation. Some people have never forgiven Kirk for the past and are secretly upset with her, while others respect her for remaining in her marriage in spite of everyone else's advice to end it. Too, as these new suspicions gain momentum, both sides are now following her like a live stream. Supporters hope she eventually speaks out if something weird is truly happening, while detractors think she will suppress her feelings every time she posts a selfie of herself looking stunning in a new dress. Statements like, "We respect your choice, Queen, and you deserve better" appear are shown. It's your choice, Queen. Right now, nobody outside that house knows if another woman is genuinely engaged or if this is just another example of how the internet connects seemingly unrelated pieces of information. But given everything that has happened in the past, it doesn't take much for followers to believe that danger may be emerging. When that belief goes viral online, the couple faces an entirely new storm. The fact that people are even questioning whether there is a covert engagement and whether this more than 25-year marriage is quietly trembling again shows how fragile the public's trust in Kirk is. The rumors continued, whether or not they were true. It actually got louder, as if someone had turned up the volume on a persistent rumor. People began investigating every recent encounter of Kirk, real or imagined, as if finding one more unclear detail would prove that something was actually happening. It was one of the most talked about occasions when he attended a small industry function without Rashida. Fans usually blame Kirk's solo appearances on schedule or business, but this time, the mood in the virtual streets was different. The problem has finally been solved, according to the internet. As a result, it didn't really matter whether a woman trailed him a few steps on the 5-second video while he was moving through the arena. Despite the bad camera position, even worse lighting and complete obscurity of the woman's face, people were positive that this was the mysterious person that everyone had been talking about. After that, more people began sharing their personal tales. One claimed to have witnessed Kirk having a quiet talk with a woman outside a parking lot, while another claimed to have seen him eating a late supper with someone who didn't seem to be a coworker. The problem is that after a story has taken shape, people tend to give less heed to the facts and more attention to the accounts of strangers who may have seen Kirk or someone who looks like him. None of these claims were supported by any evidence. Meanwhile, Rashida was going about her daily business as usual, posting her regular content, advertising her work, and smiling in photos with her fans. Alright, so that people can see the story they wish to believe. She was laughing with her crew in one video, but the way she paused and looked away caused a protracted online controversy. Because her normal demeanor appeared exaggerated, viewers began scrutinizing her facial expressions like detectives examining body language. "That's the smile of a woman holding things together," a supporter added. Commenters said she seemed worn out, weary, or as if nothing was wrong. Even though no one really understood what Rashida was going through at the time, hundreds more people agreed. Some people started defending Rashida more vehemently than previously as a result of the speculation. Imagination turns into story so fast that suffering may be seen at a glance. With captions that questioned how much more she could handle, thousands of people shared videos of her sobbing on the show, previous posts about rebuilding trust, and interviews in which she talked about choosing her family despite the suffering. On entire reality TV drama websites, posts on how she has given Kirk more opportunities than most people would have started to surface. As the stress mounted, rumors that people close to the situation were also seeing changes at home began to circulate. Some supporters even went so far as to call her Atlanta's strongest woman, adding, "Strength has nothing to do with staying in a situation that keeps breaking you." One blog claims that Rashida has been staying late at work under the guise of meetings and inventory checks. The comments were divisive, passionate, and intense. Another claims that she recently expressed to someone her frustration at having to defend her choices all the time, that she is constantly criticized and hates how even the smallest rumor may spread like wildfire over which she has no control. Even though none of these assertions were confirmed, they quickly gained traction because people were already aware that something wasn't quite right. Some tabloids started depicting Kirk as being overly suspicious in the midst of it all 3 inches. Then there were the absurd fan reactions. Fans noticed that Rashida's mood seemed to shift each time she appeared on live broadcasts or at public events. Hashtags started to become popular on smaller pages. Some even wrote whole articles in reaction to allegations that Kirk had been seen with someone else. She didn't seem depressed or clearly disturbed, but there was a certain heaviness that many perceived as emotional exhaustion. During one live stream, she waited a little too long to read comments, and that one moment alone was recorded, shared, and tagged with statements like "the truth is showing in her eyes," or "she's fighting to keep it together." Others said they could see the differences between her composed manner and whatever she might be dealing with privately, even though she continued to smile and move forward. Fans examined every aspect of Kirk's writings, including the background of his photos and the tone of his descriptions, and the conjecture didn't end with her. In an attempt to find proof of the secret participation that everyone was talking about, people's attention was drawn to shadows on tables, reflections on glasses, and fuzzy figures moving behind him in one photo of him seated alone at a restaurant. People proceeded to make stories out of the reflections, claiming that something had to be going on for Kirk to post in such an erratic and perplexing way, even though none of them revealed anything specific. Around this time, there was a new round of the PO tainter system, and there were rumors that Rashida had discussed the murmurs with Kirk privately and inquired about the veracity of the claims made online. Regardless of the truth of this encounter, The rumor quickly gained popularity since it brought to mind the emotional difficulties viewers had witnessed in earlier seasons of the program. Kirk apparently reminded her of how unfair it felt to be constantly held responsible for things that weren't happening, and how hard it had been to rebuild trust after everything they had gone through in the past. He apparently became defensive as a result, claiming that he was doing nothing wrong, and that others were simply trying to cause trouble because of his past. The drama took a different turn when someone wrote a long thread claiming to have insider information from someone who works near the Frost Bistro. The thread claimed that Kirk had been coming and going at odd hours, often sneaking in through the back door or leaving quickly without speaking to anyone, and that a new face had been hanging around the neighborhood, a woman who seemed to only show up when Kirk was present. Again, there was no hard evidence or identification, but the description alone provoked remarks from those who were positive that this mysterious person was the origin of the rumor of covert involvement. Fans looked for clues along the way, while other cast members participated in online discussions. Rumors of internal strife arose from the simple observation that a castmate who often commented on Rasheeda's posts had not liked anything in weeks. Rashida was immediately associated with an enigmatic tweet made by another cast member about knowing when it's time to go away, even though it had nothing to do with her. In circumstances such as these, family ties are the most potent fuel, and the Frost family was no exception. Every unclear phrase spoken by anyone was seen as a hint about their marriage, regardless of whether it had anything to do with the Frosts. When one of the students posted a straightforward inspirational comment about focusing and avoiding distractions one day, it turned into a frenzy where even the most fundamental things were reinterpreted as subtle messages. Even though the child didn't reply to any of the comments, the quiet just made people believe the message was significant. In a matter of minutes, comments surfaced inquiring as to whether Kirk was the subject of the statement, whether the family was experiencing difficulties, or whether they were having problems behind closed doors. There were also pictures of seemingly harmless family gatherings. If Kirk wasn't in the picture,